we finally received our Sony A7 IV. Came in after being ordered in October, just a couple of days ago. So I've been running it through the paces, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was cage and rigging options. It's a hybrid camera and we use it both for photo and video, but on days where we need video, we often will rig out something to be able to use as a handheld rig, and the A7 IV will be great for this as well. So I wanted to show a little bit about the handheld rig that I've set up and the advantages and the disadvantages of it. So this is an A7 IV right now with a Sigma 24-70 2.8 lens. I like the 24-70 because I like the versatility of being able to go shallow or deep on the zoom. Also, f2.8 seems to be fast enough for almost anything video-wise that we're doing at weddings or at corporate events or anything like that. I also have it rigged out with a side handle and with Deity D3 Pro mic. I like the D3 Pro because of the variable gain knob that's right on the back. This makes it really accessible if I need to make adjustments. I also have a top handle from Small Rig on here. This is the one with the wooden base. And I'll put all these links in the description for you. With the pinned monitor mount on the front that swivels. This is currently an Atomos Shinobi 7-inch, which is a really large, bright display. 2200 nits, gets really bright. So if you're out in daylight shooting a lot, this is really nice. It is big, but as I get older, this gets nicer. On the side here, I've got this grip. It's a wrist strap from Small Rig that's really made to just kind of be a wrist strap for the day, but you can feed it through the Small Rig cage that's on here and be able to use this to kind of have another holding point. You can still reach your shutter button just fine. Still works fine like that, but gives you another point of contact. On the bottom here, I have an Anton Bauer Titan battery base. This will give you longer coverage throughout the day without having to change batteries as often. And what we've done is we've rigged it with the Condor blue cable that goes into the DC output of the Shinobi, along with a dummy battery that comes with the Anton Bauer if you buy the kit for your specific camera. And those are plugged in D-tap right in the back. I've got a Manfrotto style base on the bottom of this, which I like because it's long enough to support the camera and keep the camera from being tippy. I'm really an Arca Swiss fan, but the Arca Swiss plates are so small that then the camera wants to tilt forward. So the Manfrotto base actually works out pretty well. Most of my gear has Manfrotto base with an Arca Swiss adapter on the top anyway, because we use Manfrotto fluid heads. So that's kind of the setup. You can change this out if you don't want an Atomos Shinobi. Let's say you have something like this Andy Cine A6 Plus. You can also buy an adapter like this, and this is for the Sony NPF style, that will pop in there and then has a D-tap connector on the end. Another tip is to utilize these things like Ranger bands is what these are called. And you can find these on Amazon. They're like a heavy duty rubber band that comes in varying sizes that you can use to kind of secure cables and put them in different locations. I just have these sort of thrown on there today, but normally I would kind of have them wrapped around and a little more organized. One of the things that I like about this is that it's heavy, and you could say that's a disadvantage too, but it really helps with micro jitters and handling the camera throughout the day. I really like the top handle to be able to do lower shots, and the tilt on this swivel will let you see better so you can hold it in tight to you and zoom or manual focus if you like, or use the great autofocus of the Sony A7 IV. Overall, it's a great rig. With the Anton Bauer battery case and this 7-inch Shinobi, you're going to get 4 hours of battery life continuous for 24 frames per second. If you actually record at 60 frames per second, which maybe some of you do for action events or weddings or things like that where you need to slow things down, you're going to get about 3.5 hours with this monitor. Now this is super bright, so it's going to eat battery a little bit faster. If you don't use a monitor and all you're doing is connecting up your camera, you're going to get close to 8.5 hours of battery life. So it's really sufficient for a day of long shooting for a wedding or corporate events. overall, really like this. The downside is it takes a while to break it down. So if you're going to be shooting video and then you need to place this into a gimbal, breaking it all down and taking it out really isn't practical. So you probably need a second camera for that. If you're going to be shooting photo and video hybrid coverage, you're doing both throughout the day, this is probably not the rig for you because it's going to be hard to justify taking photos with it with all this stuff on there and then trying to shoot video too. But if you're using it on a day where you need full video coverage, this is really great. There are a lot of different options. Obviously, this is a cold shoe here. There's another cold shoe here. So if you use wireless mics like the Rode Go or Pico mic or something like that, you have another place to put another microphone option. I like the small rig gear because they hide Allen keys everywhere magnetically on these things so that you always have access to a tool to tighten or move something or loosen it, and they're just everywhere. Even in the bottom of the cage, there's a really nice flat head to be able to loosen those stubborn bolts that always seem to be too tight that I can't get loosened with a coin on a busy day when you're trying to change something. You can run this without taking the battery door out also. There's enough room between the cage and the Anton Bauer case for the cable to sneak out the bottom so you don't have to take the battery door off. It's not a big problem to take off. It's just a couple of spring hinge that you squeeze together and pop off. But if you do need to pop it out and put in a regular battery, you can still have the door on there and it still works fine. You still can get access from the side here to all your memory card slots if you need to change a memory card, or at the end of the day, you're ready to just empty it out. Seems to work really well. So this is the rig that I've put together with some different options that maybe will work for you if you have a Sony A7 IV. Handheld is something I'm beginning to enjoy a lot more on a wedding day because of the sort of spontaneity, but also the look of it, the availability of it, always having it ready to go, capturing those moments that can sometimes slip away if you're not prepared. With handheld, I've always got a camera with me, so I don't have to worry about a monopod or any of those things. So I'm kind of embracing that a little bit. Hopefully this is helpful. Links are going to be in the description below for all of this stuff. And I'll probably do a review on this Anton Bauer battery pack for you too. That's completely separate. That'll go into a little bit more detail. So appreciate you watching. See you again soon.